Alright, boys and girls, welcome back to the drive-through. Little help for Caroline. Caroline, I'm sending help your way. So, I don't know, some things I want you to understand. X to the 1/3, that's the same thing as the cube root of x. You need to know that. X to the 1/2, that's the same thing as the square root of x. And when we write the square root of x, mathematicians are lazy, so they leave that little 2 out. Okay? Now, these are just kind of complicated, but we'll work in that form. And so when they want f of x plus g of x, you literally are just adding the two functions together. That's how you say that, f of x. It's a function of x. You put something of x, something in for x, and then this machine pops out an answer, a number usually. Okay? So, well, all that is negative 3x to the 1/3 plus 4x to the 1/2 plus g of x. Let's say this is g of x. So plus 5x to the 1/3 plus 4x to the 1/2. Okay, well, how do we add? What's x squared plus 5x squared? Well, that's a 1. That's 6x squared. So notice, we can add things with the same variable and the same exponent. So that's what we're going to do now. We're going to take this one and combine it with this one, and then we're going to take this one and combine it with this one. And our final answer will be negative 3 plus 5 is 2, and 4 plus 4 is 8. And that's how you do that one, okay? So, I tell you that g of x minus g of x is just going to be 0. But what I want to actually do for you is the one that all the students get wrong on the test, and that would be that one, okay? So, g of x minus f of x equals, and just make some space here. I'll change over to black pen so it don't get confusing. What you need is parentheses on this second term, and if you don't have them, you're going to make an algebraic mistake. So 5x to the 1/3 plus 4x to the 1/2. You can put that in parentheses if you want, but you don't need it. Minus parentheses f of x, negative 3x to the 1/3 plus 4x to the 1/2. Okay? Now, I got to distribute that negative sign to both of those terms. That's what most people usually mess up. So you end up getting 5x to the 1/3 plus 4x to the 1/2 plus 3x to the 1/3 minus 4x to the 1/2. Okay? And you get 2x to the 1/3. This minus that is 0, and that's your answer. Okay? Alright. This is just very similar, but we're multiplying. So f of x times g of x is just 4x to the 2/3 times 5x to the 1/2. A couple things. What's x squared times x cubed? Well, that's x times x, and that's x times x times x. Oh, it's x to the 5th. So now I realize we can just add the exponents. Let's change the order we do this. Let's call that, remember, we can multiply things in any order we want. So 4 times 5 is 20. So what is x to the 2? That's x to the 2/3 plus 1/2. Okay, now how are we going to do that? Let's see. 2/3 plus 6, plus 1/2. Well, let's call 1/2. shoot. Sorry. Let's write the problem down. 2/3 plus 1/2. Well, that's 4/6 plus 3/6. So that's going to be 7/6. So our answer is 20x to the 7/6 power. Okay? Now, you didn't ask me to do this one, but I looked ahead, and this is what you're going to be doing. You're going to need help with something like this. This says g of f of 2. So you work inside out on these. So f of x is a machine, and this particular machine, you put it in an x into the top of the machine, it spits you out something, it puts it into that equation, and it spits it out. So if you put in a 2, 3 times 2 is 6, 6 plus 2 is 8, f of 2 equals 8. F of 2 is 8. So when we see this, g of f of 2, what did we just say f of 2 was, everyone standing around? 8. So what is g of 8? Well, g of x is a different machine. Okay, g of x takes something, squares it, and applies a negative sign to it. So what are we going to do? We're going to put it in an 8. Now remember, order of operations, I got to square it and then apply the negative. So g of 8 is negative 64. So that is the answer to this question. So that should be enough to let you get started and do the rest of those questions. You'll make a few mistakes. Make sure you check your answers. I miss you. I'll see you soon. Boom!